Hello and welcome to the Lou Review podcast. I'm your host, Rosa Hart, and today I get to meet Rhona Kamar. She's kind of the stuff of legend around Louisville, in the food scene anyway, and she's making a big difference, not just in bringing amazing flavors to be an option, but also in making sure people get to eat who otherwise may not due to food insecurity. So, Rhona, thank you so much for taking the time to join me today.
Thank you, Rosa. I'm so happy to meet you and get to talk about the work we do, my favorite subject.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love mission driven people and to hear about your passion. So, the topic of the hour today is Zest, and that is a food product you can purchase that supports Feed Louisville, correct?
Yes.
So, let's start off with what is Feed Louisville and how did you get that started?
Yes. Feed Louisville is a hunger relief organization. It's led by a group of former restaurant chefs here in Louisville, and we started in response to the pandemic. We started very accidentally. When I started it, my original co-founder walked through my kitchen one day that I was renting for my catering company at the time, and we started talking about the fact that this pandemic thing that had just started to get going was going to be affecting people on the streets, their ability to get hot meals. And so I said, let's cook some meals and let's support you for a couple weeks till you get through this. And the soup kitchens opened back up, and it just took off from there. Just the community responded, the hospitality community responded. I always say that Feed Louisville is an extension of the hospitality industry here, because we are made up of chefs on our team, and I'm a former chef and operator and restaurant operator. And then we have, 100 or so restaurant partners and farmers and bakers and caterers who are supporting us every day in this. So that's how we got started.
Yeah, and so it was mostly making food to be served for free to people at soup kitchens and places like that, or what else did it look like?
So the way we started is my co-founder, Donnie Green, is a person who has been out in the streets for years just as a volunteer, taking food resources to people directly in camps and on the streets. And so he was doing that work, and it's called street outreach. And that was a new language to me. I didn't know that there were people in this community that were going directly to people on the streets. So that's how we started, and that is the focus still today. The majority of the people that we serve are people who are living in camps or on the streets, and then we expanded over the past couple of years. We've added other partners. We have transitional housing programs, day shelters. We work with some food some food pantries, and there's a whole range of people who are really taking the hot meals and other resources that we have directly to people where they are. So if it's a transitional housing program now, then those are people living in a hotel program or a shelter, but still the street outreach is really where our hearts are.
Yeah. Well, that is so important. I mean, there's so many levels to that, right? So many people who are homeless may not be technically on the street, but they're not in a stable environment and may not have access to cook or even be able to buy prepared food. So thank you for providing that and for your service to the community through that. So your background is as a chef. Is it also as a business owner as well at Ramsey's?
Yes, I co-owned and operated Ramsey's Cafe on Bardstown Road with my now ex-husband for 25 years. My career, I started as a journalist, so I never intended to be in the restaurant business, but he opened a restaurant right after we got married, and I have always been playing in the kitchen. I love to cook and I love to learn, and so I started creating dishes for the restaurant from day one. And eventually, several years into the business, he asked me to come in the kitchen and be a part of operations. So I really grew into the profession of being a chef. I love it. I think it's just incredible to be able to feed people. I was always doing that on a personal level. So to do that on a professional level is very meaningful. So yeah, that's my background in the restaurant business.
Yeah, and specifically the Louisville restaurant business, right? So
Yes.
I think you also were a member of La Dame d'Escoffier. Is that how you say it?
Yeah. Gautier, yes.
We have
Yes.
a
When
Louisville version of that.
the Louisville version, yes, when Jamie Estes and I and the other women who started that, I was a member the first year or so. What a wonderful group of women and a great initiative and a great, just the sort of philanthropic aspect of that organization is what I really love about it.
Yeah, definitely. So, how did tell us what Zest is and how that grew out of Feed Louisville?
Yes. So when I left Ramsey's, I started a company called Prana, Prana. Though it rhymes with my name, it has nothing to do with it. Prana means energy, it's life energy. And I have a real passion for food that is healthy, nutritious, food that gives us energy. And so that's how the name came about. I have noticed over the years here in Louisville that we lack a real good access to very vibrant, beautiful plant based meals, grab and go. Even in our restaurants, we don't have a lot of that here. I travel a lot. I see those kinds of foods when I travel. That's the kind of food I want to eat. Prana was meant to be a restaurant eventually, but before that got started, I was just doing some private chef stuff in the kitchen at Douglas Boulevard Christian Church, and that's when Feed Louisville happened. So I put all of those plans aside and thought I would get back to it and have not. So then in the late 22, we had the opportunity at Feed Louisville. We got some funding to test a concept, and it's really related to creating sustainability for nonprofits. And we loosely use the language social enterprise. This idea that, if you're talking about a for profit, there are lots of for profits who have sort of a social enterprise aspect. They have a bigger mission. And on the nonprofit side, you have a mission, but then you can also have sort of a business component, a revenue generating component to create sustainability for the org. So when we had this opportunity to get funding to test an idea, we took this idea of Prana and we turned it into Zest, which is, they're plant focused, they're very vibrant, they are very globally inspired. I love to learn about every kind of cuisine. And if you've ever eaten at Ramsey's, then you will have seen that because the menu, what I loved about the way that we approach food there is we did not put any boundaries on the food. We believe that, you know, every culture is welcome. Every culture is so beautiful. And so, and we traveled a lot and we wanted to be able to bring those things to those flavors and experiences. And so Zest has that same sort of approach in terms of creating dishes that are very healthy and vibrant, but also are from different cultures. Food to me is about culture and community. So Zest has been, has done really well. We're selling it right now. They're grab and go meals. They're packaged for people to grab and go, and you can find them in Rainbow Blossom at Value Market. Fonte's Coffee Shop just started selling them. Billion Cup of Coffee, Whirling Tiger. We're slowly growing the places that they're sold. The objective was to create revenue, and I am proud to say that Zest is now a profitable venture. After we got through the second round of funding from the Reconstruct Food Justice Challenge is what funded that initially. And before we even got through the second round of funding, we were actually bringing money in to Feed Louisville.
Yay, that's awesome. And when you say grab and go, that means like refrigerated, not frozen, right?
Right. They're refrigerated, they're very fresh. We deliver twice a week to all of our vendors. And so the idea, is that in order for us to all to be able to maintain a diet that is, and I'm cautious about the word healthy because that's interpreted so many ways, but when I say that, I just mean food that is fresh, whole ingredients, no processed food. We also try to make these meals dairy-free, gluten-free, and soy-free so that people who have dietary restrictions can enjoy this kind of food as well. But just to be able to get this out into the community and make it available for those who are running around and on the go and find it challenging to, find something that's nutritious like that.
Yeah.
That's the objective of it. Yeah.
It's a beautiful objective, and I'd love to try some. I haven't had any yet, but I would love to. And I go to those places like Fonte's, and I need
Yeah.
to go to Billion Cup Coffee. That is literally on my short list of
It's
places to
great.
go. So I
It's a
need to.
great place. Yeah. And and the other thing we're doing, so that's the Zesties, we call them, our Zest team, led by Emily Salaga is an incredible chef. She's really gets the vision for Zest, and she's been able to, help to create these dishes that are just exactly what we hoped they would be. And that's a separate team. So Zest operates under the umbrella of Feed Louisville. It's a part of our nonprofit. It is not its own entity. It's a program of Feed Louisville at this point, and we just have a great team running that. But that team we also are partnered with Heine Brothers Coffee, and we now make the burritos that are on their menu.
You
So
do?
that's another part of our social enterprise initiatives. And essentially, what we're able to do as a team of chefs and former restaurant operators, people who understand the food business, and we have a kitchen and we have expertise, we have all the things we need, we're able to sort of leverage those assets and those abilities, those skills to create sustainability for the larger mission, which is the hunger relief work that we do. So the partnership with Heine Brothers has been incredible. We're looking forward. We're in the process of creating additional menu items for them, and thankful to them and to our other partners who are featuring these products on their menu to support this work. Yeah, it's a really powerful thing. For-profit businesses have a lot of power to partner with nonprofits in a wide variety of ways to have a much bigger impact than they could even imagine.
Exactly. And the business community in Louisville is so mutually supportive, especially the food businesses, whether it's dine-in restaurants or other food related or beverage related. I've loved getting to know the different people in the community. And just like you were talking about, you had several different like facets in which you were involved before this, but I'm sure all of those relationships came into play as you're developing the next thing, right?
Absolutely. And I agree with you. And that's what I love as well about the community of Louisville, the food, the hospitality community in general. And this also includes our farmers. Farmers are very dear to our hearts,
Exactly.
and they make all of this happen at the end of the day. None of this would be happening without those people that grow our food. So, I'm so thankful and proud and excited every day to get to work with this hospitality and food community. It is, I think, I always say that, keep your friends close, but, keep your chef friends closer, because when there is an emergency, chefs really understand that hunger is always an emergency. That's what I have found to be true. When we need something like our whole work started this way, right? Like the whole basis of our organization is founded in the hospitality industry, and they continue to show up every day. Last summer, our air conditioning unit in our kitchen went out, and it was incredible to see how many restaurants stepped up to produce meals for us in their kitchens so that we didn't have to skip a beat in terms of what we were able to get out to the partners we're committed to now. We were making anywhere from 700 to 900, 1,000 meals a day. And our community partners who are getting this food to people, they're now dependent on this food, and the people we serve are dependent on it. So we were really nervous. Our team kept working, and for 2 weeks they were working in, this 100-degree kitchen. And finally we said, this is going to be a while. So yeah, this community, they're very compassionate and want to be able to take what they do best, which is make food, and make sure that everybody has access to that.
Well, and just like what you're saying with Zest, as far as the food doesn't have to just be nutritious, it can also be delicious. And
Mm,
our chefs are so good at adding flavor and experimenting with different things. Like we just found out we have 3 Louisville chefs nominated for the James Beard Award. And that's there could be more, you guys. If those James Beard people would go and eat in more Louisville restaurants, I think they
yeah.
would find even more. Like the wealth of our food scene and our options. are just incredible. And we are so blessed. And I'm so thankful that they're not just making it for high end customers, but they're really elevating the options at every level.
Yes, me too. We have great chefs in this community. We have, and I feel like our community, I mean, I think sometimes people think that, I mean, obviously it's a competitive industry, right? I mean, when you're in business, of course, you're always thinking about, the competition because there are a lot of restaurants. But what I've really seen in this, at least in this realm of hunger relief and food waste reduction, which we should talk about because
Yes, we
these
need to talk
chefs are
about
very committed to that as well. And what I have seen is not competition, but cooperation. Everybody wants to help. And it's just a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Well, sure. I mean, on their days off, those chefs don't want to cook for themselves probably, and so they'll go to each other's restaurants or get together outside of work. And so it really is like a community. But tell me more about the food waste reduction. What part does that play in all this?
Yes. So, we started out our core mission and our first mission is hunger relief, making sure people get food. But along the way, we picked up sort of a secondary mission, which is food. We call it food rescue. This is basically this idea that, there's food in the community that's, surplus food that's still viable food. And I had this experience at Ramsey's. We didn't have a lot of waste on the day-to-day basis because, the restaurant is 7 days a week. It's turn and burn all the time. We're constantly in production. So there wasn't a lot of waste on that side. But when we did caterings, which we did a lot of, my goodness, like we would always have so much food left over.
Of what was prepared already?
Yes, because caterers, you always over prepare. Bakers every day bake more, they never know. And so there's just, it's very much a part of our industry to have excess food. And so what happens with that food is what I experienced as a caterer is that I didn't often have a place. I wanted to donate it, but there often wasn't a place to take it.
Yeah.
If I have 2 pans of pasta, who wants that? They're trying to, all of our emergency kitchens are trying to serve, 500 people at a time. So 2 pans of pasta is not necessarily helpful. And so along the way, as we started Feed Louisville, we had all these caterers and bakers and, donating food to us. And we just started to realize, wow, there's a lot of this food in the community. And so we just put effort toward that. And now today we have, over 100. I think this year when we did our count, we had about 140 different caterers, bakers, grocers. We only take food from licensed handlers. We don't take any food made at home. So unfortunately, it's just part of our
Sure.
commitment to food safety. But we've had, 140 producers this year donating their surplus viable food to us. We took in,
That's incredible.
I can't remember the exact numbers, 470,000 pounds, almost 500,000 pounds this year. And this is food that would have gone to the landfill. It's food that historically has not had a place to go. And so that's just a part of our work. And now we say that we work at that intersection between reducing food waste and reducing hunger.
Mm.
What we do is when we bring that food in, because we are a commissary kitchen and we're serving multiple frontline feeding organizations. So we're not in a position that we have to produce 500 of the same meal today or 700 or 800 of the same. We can make 100 of this, 50 of that. And so that's that ability to be super granular that makes, that's our niche where we're really able to take in this food and make use of it. So it's fun. We might have Brown-Forman might donate, their employee cafe. We get food from them every week. Humana's employee cafe, Ford, just an incredible amount of really high quality producers in our community. We get a pan of beef brisket in, so the chefs are looking at that. They're making the menu every day based on what came in. So, okay, we have, a pan of brisket. All right, let's use those, that broccoli that came in from Rootbound Farm over the weekend. And you guys, we got potatoes from Dare to Care. Let's make mashed potatoes. Okay, now we're putting this beautiful meal together, and it's a lot of fun. And that's why having professional chefs at the center of this work is so critical. They have to be creative and flexible and safe food experts, which they are.
Exactly. The safety, the deliciousness.
Yeah.
They're not going to just walk in and necessarily have a recipe to follow. So being able to, let's say, riff on it like musicians.
We have no recipes in our kitchen. I mean, I'd like for us to write some down someday, but our chefs every day are working, they cook by heart. They have vast experience. I have my chefs in our kitchen who have had careers at Veronese, Le Relais, Anoush's, Wiltshire. These are, I always say they're 30 somethings. They're in that age range. And they're all, could be working in the best restaurants in Louisville and have, but choose to do this because they wanted to do something that felt more meaningful to them. They wanted to do work that is social justice activism at the end of the day. That's what this is.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful form of it. And so thank you so much for this gift to the community that you have built out of necessity and but with a lot of creativity. So I think this is awesome. What should we look forward to in the rest of 2026? We are recording this in January. So as we go into the year, how can people look for you to show up in the community?
Well, we're going to keep doing what we do. Number one, we're super focused on our mission, which is rescuing still viable food and turning around and making meals with it and serving this community. We're going to keep doing that. And then we are hoping to launch a culinary training program. We know that we can bring a couple of people into our kitchen at a time. We will source those folks from the community we serve. We will train them and get them ready for employment and send them out through, pipeline of all of our restaurant partners. So our team's very excited to be able to do that. Because we're a commissary kitchen, we don't do direct service. So this is a way for us to bring the community we serve into our kitchen in a way. We're hoping to launch that in June of this year. We're just, we have a few other ideas of initiatives, but honestly, we're trying to stay focused on what we do and just do more of it. And growing Zest, we want to do more with Zest. So that's 2026 at least. And working more with farmers. I mean, farmers are really on our minds right now with all the cuts. We know our farmers are really in fact affected more. So we're raising money from the community to, to support us purchasing from our farmers. So many of them donate to us, which we really appreciate. But what we want to be able to do is actually purchase from them. So that's a place that we really are asking people to tap in this year and help us just support our farming community even more than we do.
Yeah, that's a great point because we've really got to support the people who are making these whole foods so that they can even be available to anyone. Yeah. So are there any farmers you want to shout out to? I think you shout out to Rootbound Farm already, right?
Yes. Rootbound Farm has been amazing to us. We were so lucky we landed at the Douglas Loop Farmers Market right out, in the church there. So Rootbound and Valley Spirit and Pobbles and the Barr family and Quarles Family Farm, all of those farmers, Dirty Side Down, they all have been so amazing to us. But others, we work a lot with the immigrant farmers who work under Common Earth Farms through Catholic Charities. We love them. We just formed a partnership with the Berry Center Farm, and we'll be working a lot closer with them this year. We really want to, to do more for all of our farmers. We work with Bear Fruit and Grow. It's an incredible female-led owned farm in the South End, and we'll be purchasing a lot from them this year. And just, yeah, anything we can do to uplift our farmers, we are, we intend to do.
That is fantastic. I'm glad I asked because that's a whole bunch of names I haven't even heard yet.
A lot of people, yeah.
Go
I
to a
probably,
different farmers market. So that's
yeah. Chelsea's Eggs. I mean, I don't want to forget anybody because they mean so much to us, but there have been just incredible support from the farming community.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rhona. And if anyone wants to learn more about it, should they go to like feedlouisville.com or is it feedlouisville.org?
It's feedlouisville.org, yes. And they can go there, read more about us. There's a place to donate if they want. There's a place to sign up to volunteer. We love volunteers. And if people like to cook or like to chop veggies or packaged food, we have 2 shifts a day, 5 days a week. We are run, We depend on volunteers to do this work, and it's a fun environment. Come and listen to music, meet our chefs, and that you can see all of that on our website. And you can also reach out to me through there, connect@feedlouisville.org, if anybody has any questions or if we have producers on here who want to be involved. We would love that as well.
Definitely. And I know there's a lot of people who are always looking for different volunteer opportunities, so I'll definitely share that with them because I didn't realize that was an option either. I guess because I was thinking about all these trained chefs with food safety expertise, but you're right. Yeah, they can show people how to help.
Yes.
So, and then on social media, it's at Feed Louisville. And then do you have a separate account for Zest as well?
We do. On Instagram, we're at eat_zest. And on Facebook, it's Zest Lou. So you will find us there. And then, of course, Feed Louisville is on Instagram and Facebook as well. Yeah. So, check us out on social media. Say hi. If you want to come tour the kitchen anytime, I love to give tours of the kitchen. Yeah.
Definitely. I can't wait to see it for sure. So I'm sure other people would love to as well because you said it's a community kitchen, right?
It is. I mean, it's this work belongs to the community. It really does.
It's beautiful. And thank you for making Louisville an even better place to be. That's the point of this podcast, is to spotlight the people and organizations that make Louisville a great place to live. And I think it's really been doing that. So for the last 5 years, the Lou Review podcast has been spotlighting these local treasures. And now, as the Lou Review Foundation, we're looking to elevate that message even further. So check us out at the Lou Review Podcast on Facebook. And make sure, if you're listening, that you like and subscribe on any audio platform or if you're watching on YouTube. And I'll see you in the next episode.